everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on the Disney film Peter Pan. Now, as you know, the Disney film of Peter Pan was a 1953 animated adventure fantasy film that was produced by Walt Disney Productions, as well as being the final film being done by all 9 members of the original Disney group, Disney's 9 Old Men, which was kind of like their final film in doing Peter Pan before passing the torch. And of course, Peter Pan is going to be based on the 1904 play Peter Pan or the Boy Who Wouldn't Grow Up by J.M. Barrie. Now, the premise of the film is meant to feature Wendy and her brothers, who mainly live in London, England. And for the most part, we see how Wendy kind of encourages her brothers, Michael and John, in her stories of Peter Pan. And you can kind of tell Wendy's father being a bit more skeptical about the stories and a bit more kind of hesitant makes more sense. You can kind of tell he kind of sees that the stories have gotten a bit out of hand and kind of expects Wendy to be a bit more mature and grown up. And we do kind of see how, from his point of view, it's possible that there might have been other incidents. And of course, we see how Peter Pan risks Wendy, Michael, and John to Neverland, which kind of leads to an all-out adventure. How Wendy and the others journey into the world of Neverland, as well as dealing with Captain Hook and his first mate, Smee, and the pirates. And I would say for the most part, I think Captain Hook definitely works as a villain. He's meant to be a bit more cunning, a bit more sort of having a plan when he wants to have it, and kind of has a way of manipulating and getting people to do what he wants. And I think throughout the film, we do kind of see how Wendy kind of realizes about growing up and kind of seeing how sometimes having fun is good, but it's important not to go too overboard. And we kind of see how Michael and John do get a bit overboard with their fun and see them sort of slowly losing in touch with their more mature self. And I think the point of Peter Pan is meant to be a bit more of a smooth-talking, wisecracking kind of kid. But you can kind of tell there's moments where Peter Pan does try to be a bit mature himself. And I think the best moment I would describe it is when they've got Tinkerbell saving Peter Pan after trying to rectify her mistake. And you can kind of tell his more childish, more kind of over-the-top persona is him not caring about the world. And this does remind me a bit of Davis from Digimon Season 2. And the reason I did like Davis in Digimon Season 2, he was a bit more laid back, but knew when the situation called for it. And I think for the most part, I would say, the film still works. Like, it's not going with a big story, but more of an adventure story. Seeing the world of what Wendy created, and seeing the world of Neverland. And I think for the most part, I can kind of see some of the controversy with Princess Tiger Lily and the other Native Americans. And given the fact we are in 2022 now, some of the stuff wouldn't age completely well now. And I kind of think with the mermaid scene, that wouldn't age too well, given the fact they're kind of wearing starfish and that on their chest. But I think for the most part, I would say Peter Pan's Disney version has a message that it's important to grow up, but it's important to still have a heart of a kid still. And I think sometimes being an adult means taking on responsibility, but it's okay to still feel young at heart. But it's important to sort of still be that kid deep down. And I think for the most part, I would say, given the fact that you did had a sort of a sequel which was meant to be Return to Neverland, and you did have another series of of Disney prequels, which had Tinkerbell, which actually featured Mae Whitman as the iconic character Tinkerbell, which gave more truth about her origins. So I think for me, Peter Pan is a mix of good ideas, bad ideas, but still plays through. So I think it still deserves a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.